Welcome. In this video, we are going to cover stage templates. Stage templates are one of the most important concepts in the guide product. And so it's important to understand what they are first. A stage template is the content that is displayed to a candidate when they reach a given stage of the interview process. And so I'll show you an example. We might have an on-site stage template for all candidates inside of our senior software and engineering role. And so when they reach the on-site stage, they will see specific information and modules that we choose to display, like their interview team, some preparation tips, some links for pre-reading, and perhaps some company-related information. But as you can imagine, if we're doing a phone screen for a sales role, we might want to display some different information on that stage template, even though it's the same stage of the interview process. So what we'll cover is creating not only stage templates for each interview stage, but perhaps even different stage templates for each role or a group of roles for that interview stage. And so you can see if we move this guide to a different stage of the interview, there's a slightly different experience. There are different prep tips on how to prepare. There's a scheduling module so the candidate can book their phone screen. And perhaps any other information we might want them to prepare with at this stage. And so this is a separate stage template. We're going to set all of these up and link them together to create what we call a journey, which we'll cover in another video. So back to stage templates. From this view, we're going to go ahead and click the plus button. And if we have existing stage templates, as I do, we can go ahead and duplicate one of them and start there. So we're not starting from scratch. But I'm going to go ahead and start from scratch. So we're going to create a phone screen template for the sales roles. And we'll click create. And you can see that on the left-hand side, we have the module editor with all of the various modules that we can add to assign to our template. And on the right, we have the preview of what this will look like. Note that when we're previewing our stage templates, the specific information that is candidate focused is placeholder. So for example, any of the interviewers that we might show the candidate, the actual schedule and the interviewers associated with them, the time of the interview, this is all placeholder information that will populate with the candidate's actual information and the actual interviewers and schedule once we send this to the candidate or prepare to send it to a candidate, which we'll cover in a separate video. For now, we'll use the preview with placeholder info. So a couple things to note. Your modules as a default are editable. You can remove them, you can add new ones, and you can change the order of them as well if you prefer, and you'll notice those changes show up for a preview on the right. So note that the module library has all of the possible modules that you can add beyond the ones that exist. Note that you can also add multiple of the same module if you prefer. So for this example, I might put the interview schedule up top under the interview time. So the schedule shows up here under the interview time and under the greeting, the candidate and role name. I'll leave the interview team. The logistics, I might rename this section. I actually prefer using prep tips as the section title. And I'll go ahead and change the few that I want to let candidates know. Also note that inside of org settings, which we cover in another video, you can create custom logistics, as we call them, which will include a tile that you can just turn on here from this section once you create them in your org library. We'll say that we're going to go ahead and provide lunch, or rather a break for lunch. and update. And you'll see that these now update for any guides that we'll send to a candidate that fit the sales role group. And you'll notice that if you edit each module, they function slightly differently. And so each one has a header that you can edit, and that will be the section titles. So you can frame them how you'd like. And then some of these will pull from your org library, like mission and values. You can edit these inside of the settings page, your global org settings, and we'll pull that automatically, but you can edit the section title. For example, for a team photo, you can upload a photo and name the header. For something like the greeting or let's go ahead and add a custom text module, which is just a blank space for you to create. So I can say, we're excited to meet you. Our whole team is looking forward to spending time together during your interviews, during your upcoming interviews. And notice in these descriptions, you can also use variables. So we can, for example, say candidate first name. Welcome. Our whole team is looking forward to spending time together during interviews, and we'll go ahead and update that. And then we'll move the module from where it defaults to at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and move this under the greeting. And so now you'll see we've added the greeting module. We're excited to meet you. Welcome, candidate. And notice that this will actually be replaced with the candidate's actual name when we send them the guide. Our whole team is looking forward to meeting. And now, as you can see, I've designed my whole guide in the way that I prefer. And I'm now ready to create stage templates for each additional interview stage for sales roles. Some stage templates, you might notice, don't need to change depending on the type of the role. And so if, for example, there's a generic phone screen set of content that won't change, whether it's a sales role or an engineering role, you can create just one generic phone screen template and name it accordingly. I might say generic. And in the next video, we will cover how to link your stage templates together in what we call a journey so that the candidate gets access to the right content at the right time when they move stages.